Can you guys hear me? Type 1 if you can hear me. Type 1. Type 1. No other number but 1. All right. Wow. Thanks, Tawana, for helping me out here today. This has been a fun adventure. Again, it's like working as a DJ, trying to control half the stuff. And when it doesn't work, it's not good. But apparently, it just was not in the mood to let me talk to you guys today. So I apologize. I appreciate you all that stuck around and waited for me to figure it out. Some of you probably just would have clicked off already and had lunch. I understand. All right. So now that I'm way behind on trying to get everything out to you guys, I'm going to go a little faster here because I have to get ready for the midday show. But it's my fault, right? It's my fault. I'm going to make sure to spend some time with you guys here to cover where we stand on the setup for especially on Thunder. And then we'll get into the longer term here in just a second. So hang tight for a moment. I'm going to bring up another screen so I can look at that. Thank you, by the way, for responding and telling me what's going on, because it's your cues that honestly tell me when something isn't always right. So it's a team effort here on the blog. And I love that. All right, so let's get things started. Hello, Karen. Hello, Michelle and Glenda. Everyone looks good. Everyone's here. All right, let's get going here. Of course. Hold on one second. Got another one issue that is not cooperating. We're almost there. Almost there. Let's see. Let's click this button. This is why I prefer using Mario Paint. I really do. Mario Paint is what I used to use to do all my weather graphics when I was a kid, and it worked great. They really did. They really need to bring back Mario Paint. All right, so let's run down where we're at on the severe risk next couple of days. We're fine. Notice a little bit of a slither there as we get into our western counties for Thursday. Not worried about that. In fact, overall severe threat with this system is very, very low because the front, again, does stall out. Okay, so we've got a beautiful sky today. It's been chilly outside. We've got a few high, thin clouds overhead, but it's going to be a much warmer day today, getting above normal. 70 to 72 or so. I think that's pretty good. There's one little weak wave that I'm watching back here to Missouri. We'll see how that plays out as it lifts north. It will try to throw some moisture our way, but the air is relatively dry, so I don't see much moisture other than clouds from that. Just know that we are watching that little feature as it is showing up there on the radar, and some of the modeling was hinting at it, but I'm not too concerned about that one as it moves on by. The big story is we're going to get into the 80s as we head into tomorrow. mid 80s by the time we head into your Thursday. Thursday is the key day as far as being warm without any rain or severe weather threat or anything like that. Thursday looks to be the warmest. But then we get into Friday. Now, the front should arrive early in the day on Friday through much of the daytime period because, again, the front is going to stall out right over the Ohio Valley. And that is a problem for two things. One, this will be the train track that the low pressure is going to want to track along. Two, the stalling effect of the front is likely going to lead to an extended period of heavy rainfall in the area that it lingers longer before something comes along and moves it out of the way. And that may very well find itself, that zone may find itself within wave country. And if the modeling's right, it may be right here into Louisville that we will see that lingering. And that would be mainly Friday night. We would see that carry over. Now, I don't see that heavy rain threat going all the way into Thunder daytime. That's good. But it could certainly allow for a lot of heavier rain the night before through about sunrise Saturday. So depending on where you're going to set up your chairs or head out and to watch the shows on Saturday, any area that's grassy, just be prepared for mud and a lot of mud. All right. So wear the appropriate shoes. Keep that idea in mind. You're certainly going to need some ponchos because there will be some drizzle. It looks like falling at some point through the day. But I do not see heavy rain for Thunder, for the air show, or for the fireworks. I do not see a signal for heavy rain, but I do see it the night before. All right. So make sure to prepare for both things, wet, messy ground, and for kind of a drizzly setup for Thunder. There's the low pressure beginning to move in as we into early on Saturday morning. Modeling, especially the Euro and GFS, still not exactly agreeing on how this will evolve. The GFS sees much more of a block that's here across the eastern seaboard and the Atlantic in general. And it will then allow it to dig and get a little stronger as it almost retrogrades back into the lower Great Lakes. The Euro does not see as much of a block, so it's a little more progressive with the idea and aims quickly off to the northeast, which would mean the majority of the rain and perhaps even much of the drizzle would move out of here fairly quick. So there's still some wiggle room here on improvements. I still think it's going to be cloudy. And I still think it's going to be cool. That is a lock. What I don't know at this point will be the ceiling level. How low will the ceiling be? That's important for the air show. What type of air show we'll end up having as far as which planes can do the full stunts and cannot do them, and whether or not we end up with more of a steadier drizzle on top of things to be thrown into the mix. So those are still the two ideas, but they're both are colder or cool solutions for the area. This is the Euro. It moves on by. It takes the rain with it. You see the steadiest of rain at 2 o'clock is relative to the east. Temperatures start to drop. We still could be in the 50s at the start of the air show. But once that low gets a little further northeast, there's a second little piece that'll try to dig down behind it that will just bring in another round of drizzle that may move in after the fireworks are over with, but it looks chilly, temperatures in the 40s. And that will be the case Sunday. Sunday looks worse than Saturday. I'll say that. Sunday is, Sunday, we may not get to the 40s at all in many areas. So it looks pretty nasty there on Sunday. But Saturday, the Euro idea of the two models right now, the Euro is likely the one you'd want to cheer for because it is the less impactful one in terms of rainfall. But again, both have chilly air. Now, let me show you the rainfall. Again, this is where we got to watch to see where that lingering of the front Friday night. This is all about Friday and Friday night. This is not a Saturday concern here, but Friday night, got to watch where that band of heavy rain sets up shop. That's something that we'll just answer as we get a little closer, but it's worth watching. Here's the GFS, a little wider view for you guys. And on here, of course, this has got the cold air painted on it, the rain snow line. There's a reason why I'm showing you that, intent. But there's the front as we enter Friday night. It does the same thing. It lingers across Kentucky and see the yellow showing up. But also notice that rain snow line suddenly got pulled into the mix here, into Kentucky. It got pulled down. If I get my, come on, mouse. There you go. It got pulled down into this low pressure. What is happening here? Well, what the GFS is seeing is that there is more of a block in this area. And therefore, the low wants to dig and get stronger and cut nearly due north instead of a little more of a slant or northeast movement that the Euro likes. Well, that's two different ball games here. On this one, when it comes to what will happen to the low, anytime you take a low pressure and go against the grade of a strong westerly flow, it will likely deepen. So if that's the case, then on Saturday, the low will actually get stronger. Still looking at a rain threat and, moderate to heavy rain spots on Friday. But then the low gets stronger on the air show portion, and we end up with a decent, steady rainfall, getting colder. And I'm going to show you the next frame as it shows that it's going to go to snow, not necessarily here, but boy, it is close. This becomes a cold core here, the deformation zone, as we get into the darkness of night showing up, and then your dynamic cooling kicks in, and it wants to start to mix in snow into the area on the backside of that low. Temperature's about freezing, by the way, just FYI. But that would be anytime you see blue mixed in with the rain, whether it sticks or not, it just obviously tells you that's a cold, miserable rain, right? So the GFS is a little heavier with the rainfall and certainly colder with the overall setup. And perhaps during the overnight into Sunday, especially along an east of 65, it may go to flurries. That is possible. I wouldn't rule it out. It would certainly be a cold, windier, wind chill type of setup. GFS is about as ugly as you can get on a wintry setup for spring and right on Thunder weekend. So you do not want thunder. You don't want the GFS to be right if you want to get outside and enjoy thunder. GFS, everyone type boo. It's boo the GFS. Even snow lovers, you got to boo this, right? I mean, this is not what you want. You don't want to be outside and all this. This does remind me of 2005. Very similar. We had wind chills in the 30s. We had sleet mixed in with rain 2005. We still had a really good crowd despite that. And the show will go on, FYI. All right, they're still going to do the show. All right, the air show may be a little different at times, but the fireworks will still launch. So if anything, more people may be watching than going, if that's the case, but that gives you more room for your family to hang out, right? So that's the GFS idea. As we head into the weekend there, let me zoom on past this. I already showed you it. Why are they seeing the differences in the block? Well, one of the ways we can track that is what we call the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation. Now, this is the GFS idea. This blue line is where it's been so far. And again, anytime you go south of the black line, below the black line, you get into a negative territory, which indicates more of a troughiness or a dip in the jet stream in the eastern part of the country, and a very slow moving weather pattern. The more negative it is, very slow, blocking, cutoff lows kind of a scenario tend to develop. And notice the idea that it wants to, the circles here are the most recent run. And notice as we head toward Friday into Saturday, it wants to absolutely tank it into a negative territory. That's the GFS idea, which so far, again, the blue line is its verification so far, and it's done fairly well on the southern end of the envelope there of the other modeling ideas that it's had. Now let me show you the Euro. Here is the Euro verification line. So far, we've been way below what it says we should be. And the idea of looking at the trend go negative is a little concerning because the NAO is not being handled very well in the Euro. So more than likely, we're going to end up with much more of a block here for Saturday, like the GFS is showing. So that gives a little more credit to the GFS idea of a slower and perhaps a stronger system that may develop in the Ohio Valley. That's just using one aspect of forecasting and teleconnection. That's not all you can use, but that one that is up to me, certainly, that they're a little off track on the amount of blocking, and that is going to be a key factor. And I looked at the Euro just to see where it was plotting the lows Saturday afternoon, and it varies. It has some here over Kentucky. It does have some that are moving faster that would be into Ohio, but on this clustering here for Saturday, the Euro is still struggling on where the low will be and how strong it will be at this point for Saturday. So there's a lot of questions. There's your block, by the way, to the east of it. So we know it's going to take a turn. The low pressure, it'll likely curve, but we don't know if it's going to go more northeast or like the Euro idea, or will it go like the GFS and kind of cut more north, which would be a much more prolonged and a colder idea. It's only Tuesday. We need more short-range models to see this clearer and a more detailed look, but that's where we stand for now. So a quick update on the forecast. This is where we're going to go. 54 degrees for the air show, light rain. Could be some improvements. We could get this out of here as we head into the afternoon, especially if the Euro's right. So I don't want to discount it, but that's where we're staying now, 54 the air show. And then as we into fireworks time, 40s with still some spotty drizzle around. We'll see how this trends, guys. Don't get too caught up on the wintry side of it right now. We got some time here to work that out. But interesting enough, this has been the year of extremes, right? We've had some weird things happen the past few months. So the GFS idea, in the same sense, while it seems a little outlandish, hey, certainly would not shock me, that's for sure. But hang tight, guys. We'll keep you updated as we get a little closer in time. And of course, we'll have more coming up today on midday. Sorry again for the delay and the technical issues. We're working on it, and I will be back on at 11. Until then, enjoy the sunshine and the warmer weather today.